Welcome, Eagles Nation, to the Philly Alert, where we alert you of all things Philadelphia Eagles. Now, Eagles Nation, listen. I'm a little bothered about what's going on. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Howie Roseman just went complete beast mode when asked about A.J. Brown. No answers, no energy, no vibes. We all know what this means in Philadelphia. If you're not putting your name on it, stamping it, nipping it at the bud, all things are on the table. You know, with the new addition of the new defensive end prototype in Jalen Phillips and the players we picked up since then, and the rumors about the Eagles going all in on Myles Garrett. I tell you right now, this might be the calm before the Philly storm. But let's listen to what Nick Sirianni has to say about this A.J. Brown situation.
Nothing's changed there. AJ's an Eagle. Nothing's changed from the last time I spoke to you guys. And yeah, that's where we are.
So you expect him to be there for
As you're building an offense for the 2026 Eagles, how do you do it without knowing whether he's going to be a part of it?
I'm sorry?
As you're building an offense for the 2026 Eagles, how does it work not knowing whether a key piece like AJ would be a part of it?
Yeah, like I said, everything AJ's an Eagle. Nothing's changed since last time we talked through everything. But you're going through all the process that you go through each and every year. It's a little different this year because, with a little bit of with the scheme change that we're making, you don't do as much of, hey, we're going to break down every single play that we ran last year, right? So it's just a little bit different of a process, but the process is, getting ourselves ready for OTAs, bringing the staff together, everybody learning the new pieces, the new job descriptions of what we need to do within it, and that's what we're focused on right now.
How about our quarterback? How about our quarterback? I'm your quarterback. He's a stud. He is a stud. I knew he was going to play that way. I knew it. Don't doubt him. All he does
I'm
is
bird
win.
game 31 and I'm fly like an eagle. Hit him low, hit him high like the Eagles. Catch me on a podcast and we only talking Eagles. Dallas still sucks and ain't nothing like the Eagles. I'm one O-line, Jalen Hurts top 5. Run it like Saquon, like I'm down Queen. Always open AJ, touchdown, say. Strap him up like DeJohn, sack him up, Zach Bond. On the road to victory, yeah. We gon' run your Eagles spot. Hit him low, hit him high. Hit him low, hit him low, hit him high. We gon' hit him low, we gon' hit him high. We gon' hit him low, we gon' hit him high. We gon' hit him low, we gon' hit him high. Bird gang 31 is a host, man. Bringing Eagles to your door like the postman. Make some noise if you a real Birds fan. Make some noise if you a real Hurts fan. Yeah.
What is up? What is up, Eagles Nation? I'm your host, Bird Gang 31, and we bringing you another episode of the Philly Alert. I brought my people in. We got a first timer. We got Lizzie E in the building. You know what I'm saying? Dropping knowledge. Great Eagles fan. What's up, Liz? Welcome to the show. We've had you on the show for a couple of weeks now. We had some, scheduling things, but we finally got you on here.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here and for the opportunity. I'm not an expert on football, but I'm an Eagles fan since '06, and I'm very passionate about this. So I'm excited to be here.
Sounds good. And I had to get my boy Tom. He's like the replacement, host on my shows. Tom right there. We got Bird fan from 81 on the road right now. He should be joining us a little later, but I got my boy Tom, man, because we always need Tom's takes, man. How you doing today, Tom?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Just it's kind of a dead period in the off season, so good time to hop on and kind of sum everything up, and then we're gonna head right into this draft. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, man. It's close. Draft less than a month away. You know what I'm saying? Like the Eagles got a lot of things to do, I think, to fill some of these holes. We're going to get into some draft talk a little later. Tom, tell me a breakdown of what's been going on this offseason. You know what I'm saying? Give me a summary. Give me the Tom's take on the offseason.
Well, I think it's a bittersweet. It's going to be a bittersweet couple off seasons in a row because the salary cap prevents you from keeping all of your players. And when you draft as well as the Eagles have over the last several years, you're going to inevitably lose some of those players, and you're not going to be able to re-sign, guys that latched on mid-season, like a rental, like a Jalen Phillips, who goes and gets big time paid somewhere else. A guy you even brought in, Kobe Dean, a Reed Blankenship, who you had as a UDFA for the first part of his career. When you're a good team and those guys pan out, they're going to leave for big paydays elsewhere. And your job then becomes to have to replace those guys with new guys through the draft, because there are other guys that the Eagles drafted, the Jalen Carters, the Quinyon Mitchells, the Cooper DeJeans, the Jordan Davis, that need their payday, and they're the guys we're going to prioritize. So that's kind of what's going to happen for the next few off seasons. It's already happened last off season with losing Josh Sweat and Milton Williams. And Darius Slay, and traded CJ Gardner-Johnson. And then it's happening this offseason with the players I just named. So that's the biggest theme to me is how do we replace those departed players?
Yeah, that is what it is every year. When you're the best, man, those checks get high, man. I wanted Phillips back, but he got $30 million. I didn't want him back.
a year, man.
I didn't want him back at $30 million.
Got a big bag.
What about you, Liz? How you feeling about this offseason?
I mean, I'm feeling really good. I'm trusting their judgment. I know that AJ Brown leaving was a good decision because he didn't want to be part of the Eagles anymore. So we're going to get someone that's going to be good to replace him. I'm very hopeful on that. We're in good hands because we have the general manager of the Philadelphia Eagles, Howie Roseman. I mean, he's the driving force as to why we won Super Bowl 2018 and 2023. So I'm very hopeful for the next season, and I'm excited the energy that they're going to bring. And I trust they're going to make good judgment.
Right, and Howie we trust. No matter what, like people act like, all the big losses, like the Phillips thing hurt me a little bit. I wanted us to re-get them because, it goes into what I want to talk about. Like we're going through an era of like Eagles getting back to Eagles, where we get these big monsters on both sides of the ball, on the defensive line. If you look at, two of the guys that we picked up this offseason, big guys here, you're talking about, I am not going to mess up their names. Arnold and Joe. That's what I'm going to say. Arnold and Joe. Arnold, is 6'2", 250. Joe's 6'5", 260. They both have 34-inch arms. For defensive players, I think that Fangio and Howie seen something in what sparks Phillips to get this his big size. Like we have smaller DNs like, Nolan Smith, what the other one name is, Jalen's son. We've had smaller DNs back in the day too, from Trent Cole and whatnot, and I think they realized that when you got a big physical DN on the end, that helps set the edge, that helps stop the run. When you got these smaller guys, yeah, they might get after the passer, but what happens on rundowns? These guys are getting killed. I will give Nolan, when he's healthy, Nolan does play the run pretty good. I'm not going to say that he's poo-poo at it. Nolan does play the run pretty good, but his thing is his health. The way he's so physical in there, you can't guarantee he's going to be healthy all year long. So I do like the fact that this defense is converting back to heavy on the outside. And everybody wants the Eagles to get this pass rusher added to the team. We got two nice young guys. Hopefully BG comes back. That's 3. I wouldn't mind seeing if we can get a trade with Arizona, maybe bring Sweaty back for another year, because Sweaty had like 12 sacks last year on the Cardinals, and they're trash. So, with the DBs we got, the linebackers we got, even though Nakobe D is going to have high faith in Campbell, I think this defensive line can be like we were last year, where you don't have to put the priority. Leave it to the guys in the middle. Leave it to the guy that you want to pay all the money to, Jalen Carter. Everybody want to see Jalen Carter Eagle forever. It's going to cost a lot of money to get him an Eagle forever. Leave him, let him be the star, let him see if he can reach his full potential in the middle of that defense with his brother, Jordan Davis. I'm a bigger Jordan Davis fan. I said on my last couple podcasts, I believe Jordan Davis is probably going to have a better career than Jalen Carter. When you talk about two shoulder injuries, that both of your shoulders hurt, my guy, you're young, and you know what I'm saying? Like you talked about how it cost you from playing at a high level last year. You had to go get surgery or whatever procedures done to get both your shoulders healed. Like it's early in your career. It's only gonna get worse from here. That's not gonna be a thing. That's just, oh, he had this procedure. He's gonna be perfectly fine. And that's a defensive tackle with his strength, his size. When you're going against 350-pound offensive lineman, you need your shoulders. And that is a major concern for me, I think, moving forward. And I think that's something the Eagles are going to hold off on actually, giving Jalen Carter his extension. It's because they're going to make sure those shoulders are right before they give him any kind of money. So how do you guys feel about the new wave it seems like we're moving towards? Because even the Myles Garrett talk, we can talk about that in a minute, but how do you guys feel like the new wave in general from the two pickups to how we got?
Well, I would say that they definitely like their edge players, rangy, versatile for sure. Those are some really athletic guys, but I think out of all the new pickups that we need out of every, you were talking a lot about the defensive line and emphasizing that, but how about Tariq Woolen? That's my favorite pickup that we made. Getting that cornerback too, and yeah, he'll probably only be here for one season, but that's a good secondary for one season,
Yeah.
So,
Who knows? He could stay longer.
Yeah, you never know. You never know what's going to happen, but I mean, I just hope he has a great year, and then we're wanting him to stay because if he doesn't play well, but I know last year it was kind of ups and downs for him, and people have said since his rookie year he's kind of been on the decline or not as good as he was his rookie year, which you definitely could say that. But I think in this defense around the D-backs we have, everybody gets beat in the NFL. It's the NFL, but I think adding him to the secondary is going to be a much more positive thing than it is a negative. And obviously, we have that safety spot to fill, but man, that safety is going to be coming into a secondary that's pretty darn good. I mean, I really like Andrew Makuba as well at the safety spot. So, I know we had him most of last year. We got hurt at the end. I feel like we're getting him back into the mix. We're adding Tariq Woolen. It's going to be a really fun secondary to watch with Q and Coop as well. So, man, I'm excited to see who gets that safety spot, but really just for that unit, it's going to be a lot of fun with the addition of Reek. So, hype about that.
Yeah, Liz.
I mean, I'm very excited for Myles Garrett. I think he could definitely bring a lot to the Eagles team. He's definitely an aggressive player. He was, suspended because in 2019 he threw a helmet. So I love aggressive players on the team. I feel like they bring that energy. I think he's a great pick, and also he won Defensive Player of the Year in 2023. So I think he's amazing, and I'm excited to see where he's going to take the team. I think he's the best pick that they picked so far that I've read upon. So I'm very.
Well, we haven't got him yet. We're that trade hasn't went down, but I get what you're saying in terms of like if we were to get a Myles Garrett, like what he can bring to this team, like.
Yeah, I hope they do get him because I hope they do get him because he's definitely something that I
last year. So he's 30 years old, broke the sack record. I don't see a
Great
decline
player.
coming. Yeah. This guy's a beast. You know what I'm saying? So, how you feel about that, Tom? Like, I know you talked about the secondary, but in terms of really establishing this defensive front, do you think that we tried to give 3 first-round picks to Cleveland before for them?
Yeah, I mean, it just sounds really like a lot.
Look at the financials. Before you say, look at the financials. These are some things I think we can do. You know what I'm saying? Like 31, 41, 24. So the dead cap money is a lot lower than that.
And if anything, that makes me think there's no chance. $41 million guaranteed in 2027. I mean, we have so many players we have to sign, and He's 30
But I
years
think
old.
it was showing that it was like 17, like 14, 17 in terms of the dead cap, the cap hit itself. And that's what's guaranteed to the players, but the cap hit's not the same number, you know. It was a lot lower. I remember it was like 17 or something for the first year. You think about to get Myles Garrett for 17, the next year I think it was 20, the next year I think it was 25, the next year, like I think when you got to like 2029, that's why Cleveland restructured this for them for cap space. But you know, I think if you're paying, you can get 2 years of Myles Garrett for under $25 million a year. That's a steal. That's a steal.
Yeah, I don't think Howie's going to give up all that draft capital for one player. It's just not really in his MO. I haven't seen him do that. You know, and a player that's at that age, you know, I would say I don't think he's going to do it. But obviously, Myles Garrett, the player himself, is like he's one of the greatest of all time at that position. So obviously, if that were an option. But I mean, I don't even know if he's going to get traded in general. I haven't really heard much about it lately. So I don't know. My guess.
They got the picture floating around right now with Howie and the GM. You know, he used to be an Eagle. You know, out there talking business. You know, you think about this. They pushed the money back so it can go past June 1st. You know, AJ Brown. If you really think about trading AJ Brown, it'll be after June 1st. You know what I'm saying? Like this was just one of the trade scenarios they're talking about. Myles Garrett for AJ Brown, a 2027 first rounder, a 2028 first rounder. Would you make that trade if that trade was available?
No, I wouldn't make that trade, and I just think it's completely that time off season where there's not a whole lot to talk about because I just don't think there's any way that happens.
You wouldn't like that? We keep our first rounder this year, but the next 2 years give it to him, and then give him AJ for Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is the best defensive player in the league. Best player in the league, if you want to say.
Nah,
He's worth every bit of that trade, I think. And I think if we were to get him, like, come on, AJ, man, you know, let's talk about it. You know how I feel about AJ.
I don't think so.
I love AJ, but he doesn't really want to be here. Now, if he went to Cleveland, guess what? It wasn't one of his destination teams. I will say that. He said he wanted to go to Chargers, Chiefs, or the Patriots.
I thought he was gonna go to the Patriots. He was eyeing the Patriots, and honestly, a team player doesn't want to be a part of a team. Just let him go. I mean, he cost us getting into the Super Bowl the last season. So
Facts.
I think he's a diva, and he needs to be let go. Period.
He's a great player. Tell me how you feel about it, though, Tom. Like,
I don't know. I mean, that's
no. My question to you, because I know how you're going to answer this question.
Mhm.
My question to switch it up on you is, if he does leave, can Devontae Smith be number one in your mind? Could you guys feel? Because I hate how the narrative is. If AJ leaves, we don't have a number one. What are we going to do? The pass game is going to suck. When we have Devontae Smith, and how many years you going to give Devontae, who's never been in a Pro Bowl, never been an All-Pro, never had, you know, he's had 1,000 yard 2 times, you know, never really had any accolades for what he's done. He's made some of the biggest catches in our, you know, franchise's history. You know, the dagger from the Super Bowl year, you know, clutch sideline catches, the most clutch receiver. He's considered one of the best route runners in the league. They call him 1B, meaning you think he's a 1A. You went out, you got Hollywood Brown. You got Elijah Moore, who's on a prove-it deal. You know, maybe draft a first-round pick because there's some good receivers in the first round. Do you think if AJ leaves, the Eagles are in deep shit like everybody thinks? Or do you think Devontae would just thrive and finally you'll be able to see what both of them can do without each other? You can say AJ could be better, have way better numbers without Devontae Smith, but you can also say the same thing. Devontae Smith will have way better numbers without AJ Brown.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care about numbers. I just want to win. I want to keep all our good players, but that's just me.
You don't want to see them go, huh? Tom's like, I want all of them.
I want to see AJ Brown go. That would suck.
I did all that, and you just ended it the same way I knew you were going to. I knew you were going to go there, but I went straight AJ. You did it with the
I have like a Jalen Hurts kind of mindset with that. Like, I don't really. I just want to win games, and I want to keep all the good players for Jalen to have. We got Saquon, we got AJ, we got Devontae, got Hollywood, we got Elijah Moore came in. I think that's good depth at wide receiver. Dallas came back. Goddard, like this team's loaded with talent, and we got Sean Mannion calling plays now. He's never done that. He's only been coaching in the NFL for 2 years. So I want to keep all our good players, and I want to make sure Sean Mannion has a full deck to deal from and design this offense, because there's a whole lot of new pieces with the offensive staff. You got Josh Grizzard, the passing game coordinator. It's the first time in Nick Sirianni's career that he's had a different passing game coordinator and run game coordinator. Kevin Patullo was the pass game coordinator until he became OC, and Jeff Stoutland's been here forever. So they really completely overhauled this offense. So that's my sell to A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon, everybody. You guys don't even know what kind of numbers you're going to put up, because this is a whole new offense. So why don't you just put your head down and work, and we'll revisit these talks after the season when everyone's all pro and another Super Bowl banner gets put up in the link. But I like the team we have, and I want to see what they can do in this new offense.
Liz?
I mean, if we can trade AJ Brown for Myles Garrett, like, I think that would be amazing. I think he's just checked out. He wants to go to the Patriots. There's been talks that he's been eyeing the Patriots, so just let him go. If not, he's gonna stay, and he's gonna be more of a diva. And we need players that are actually going to be team players. It makes no sense to keep him there if he's not happy in Philadelphia.
Yeah. And like we said, I'm all aboard if he's coming with a positive attitude. If he's over it, everybody done worked out their differences. Like you say, you don't know what you want from Mannion, but the reason why I would say that too, like it would say we pick up a guy like Sadiq in the draft next month. He's a tight end / receiver. He's a big physical guy. I feel like if you had him and Goddard, you guys got to remember, we don't know the exact offense that's about to be run, but we know the tree that it's from. You know what I'm saying? We know the tree that's from. They use a heavy tight. Think about who was the Packers last year before he got hurt. Kraft, right? So they run. I think they ran the most 12 personnel. Had the most tight ends on the field. They had like 3 tight ends doing work last year.
That's something that we didn't mention either, is that we brought back Grant Calcaterra for 1 year, and we also brought in tight end Johnny Munt, who is a really good blocking tight end. So they definitely have that in them. When I said that earlier about saying like you don't really know what the numbers are going to look like because you don't really know what the offense is. That was more toward the players. Obviously they know the style and everything of the offense, but they've never played in that together. So, my pitch to them is like, look at this offense that we're going to run. Like, how do you feel you're going to play in this? Because it does favor your skill position players, and it's quarterback friendly. It's like the McVay, Shanahan, Kevin O'Connell style offense. So a lot of
running backs and tight ends definitely been it. And receivers that are great route runners.
Yeah. And just like, anyone that you can, you can use anyone to get open and move guys around. And I think that's why the depth at receiver is so good, having different guys, different role playing receivers that can, like Elijah Moore, he's like a slot instincts guy. And then you have Hollywood Brown, he can move around, but he's like a deep threat. He's like a pure speed threat that we really haven't had. I feel like Jahan Dotson wasn't really a pure deep threat. Devontae can go deep, but he's not like a pure deep threat. He's more versatile than that. So having a Hollywood Brown to be kind of that game breaker, I'd say he could be the first effective pure deep threat we've had since Quez Watkins in 2022, when he did have a good year and then kind of messed up in the Super Bowl, and that's what everyone remembers him for. But he was really good for us in the 2022 season.
Yeah, he had that like 90-yard reception that year.
Yeah, he did. No, that was the 2021 season, but he was good both years for those first 2 years of Jalen Hurts. So, like, I think that's good for an offense to have, like a Hollywood Brown who can stretch the field. And then obviously you have AJ, your physical receiver. And, we talk about the tight ends and how well they played. AJ is kind of like the same, style, like a tough physical player that can go over the middle, that can control the middle of the field. So you have him. Then you have Goddard, like we just mentioned, Calcaterra. I don't think they're going to pick Sadiq. I don't think that's in their style, but maybe they draft a guy in like the second round. I think they're going to prioritize something else in the first round. But if they pick the guy in the second round to kind of be that like a predecessor to Dallas Goedert, because he's only back for 1 year again, and he's getting older, so you just don't really know when his time's going to come to walk away from the team. Still think he has some in him, but they could draft his heir apparent this year in the draft early. So you have a lot of weapons, man. Sean Mannion's coming in here. I think any all of them. Grizzard, the new run game coordinator, who's our tight ends coach, and they all played in the NFL. The offensive line coach also played in the NFL. So these guys, I think they come in, they see talent. They should be like licking their chops. Like, man, we could make this thing go crazy. So I don't know how.
That's the reason why I say if we can get something good for AJ,
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, because like you said, like, and that's another reason why, like, you just named more weapons.
Yeah, but AJ's the best one out of all of them.
Running back Pierce. Pierce was good. Pierce was good too. Digsby should get more carries this year. Saquon's good. So you got 3 running backs that could do damage, do work on the ground, right? And then you just added a speed.
I don't want to give away weapons, though. That's the thing. I'm not giving away my best receiver or my 1A, 1B. I don't want to go from 1A, 1B to just 1. I want both of those guys. So
you go 1 and a solid 2, And I'm not even saying that, you go get a Lemon, you go get a Tate in the draft. You get a couple of receivers in the first round. They're going to be a number 1. Cooper Jr.
Right.
And then you got Cooper still on the roster too. The little baby AJ we had last year. He's still on the roster too.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, hear me out on this part. I'm just saying, if the deal were to go, I really personally think it is. Like, Howie Roseman came out and said, full Marshawn Lynch, if you ask me questions about AJ, the answer is AJ Brown's the Eagle. Like, yeah, you can say for clickbait, for media, he's doing it, but to not be like, we're not trading AJ Brown. You've even at least heard Cleveland GM come out and say, we're not trading Myles Garrett. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the hype about Myles Garrett, like, the GM came out, whether he trades him or not for the right price is one thing, but he came out and said it. We're not trading. Our plans is not to trade. Howie's never said that once. And Howie's done this a lot of times throughout his career in terms of trading people. I understand he's on our team.
But listen to this. I mean, what did we just spend the last 10 minutes talking about? Whether or not you wanted Myles Garrett to get traded to the Eagles. And you said the GM came out and said, I'm not trading him. And we're still sitting on a podcast talking about it. So if Howie said earlier today, I'm not trading AJ Brown, you'd still be talking about it. Like, look, so what does it matter?
They even hype it up more. This is what they did. They even hype it up more on social media. Eagles and Patriots will do a joint practice this offseason.
Exactly. They know what they're doing. They're building up anticipation for it. But no, I think whatever Howie says, you're still going to talk about the trade and if it's going to happen.
Okay.
But I think if AJ really wanted to leave, then he would tell him. He'd say, "Listen, I don't want to play here. I'm done."
He gave a list.
So the fact of the matter is that they haven't traded him. That tells me that he hasn't put that request in, and so maybe he sticks around and they continue to, play well. So
he said it. They've had pro people say at the Super Bowl parties he said he wanted to be traded. He gave Howie a list of teams that he would prefer to get if he gets traded to go to. And
I mean, if that were true, then I think that they would have made the trade. I mean,
no. The June 1st thing is a big thing.
All right,
the trade has to be right. But you got to say, make a trade now, right, for a draft pick now, and still have to take a $40 million, dead cap hit.
But be honest. Do you think if AJ Brown walked up to Howie Roseman and said, "Look, I'm out of here. I don't want to play here. I'm done. I'm out. I'm absolutely done. I don't want to be here. I refuse to play here next year." You don't think the Eagles would just have been like, "Okay, we're going to trade you then"? Like, you don't like that. You don't think that's in their MO? I mean, I've been following the team for a while, and I think if a player was acting like that, they say, "We're going to do as quick as we can. We're going to get rid of this guy and just let it go, and we're going to move on." And that's how I think this team operates. So the fact they haven't made the deal yet tells me that it's not as it's just not what people think it is, in my opinion. So that's how
I
I feel
think
about it.
it's like what you're saying, but like at the most highest professional way you can do it. Because like I told everybody, I don't think he really wants to leave. I just think he knows staying is not going to get him the yards that he really wants to get. Like he's earned it. Like everybody act like this is like AJ wanting the ball more. AJ wanting to get his yards is selfish or whatnot. It has nothing to do with that. He's probably one of the best teammates. He's probably people love him, obviously the locker room.
Yeah, that's
You know,
what
the community loves him. Everybody loves him. Howie loves him. But AJ has personal goals. You know what I'm saying? Like he's won a Super Bowl. He's been an All Pro a couple of times. He's been in like 4 Pro Bowls. It's like the only thing left is to be considered number 1, and that's what he keeps saying he wants to be. Like I feel like if he knew coming in there to shake a hand, hey, this offense is going to give me the ball, which I really think if you structure offense with a competent coordinator, you go back to his first 2 years here, he had 1,400 yards. He can have seasons like that, but even those seasons wasn't enough. He wants like the Jefferson, the Chase numbers. You know what I'm saying? He wants to be able to get the Triple Crown. You know, have enough targets to have the Triple Crown. As long as Devontae Smith is getting better on our team, we got to feed Smitty too. And it's not fair to Smitty to have to play back role when he was a first-round draft pick, best player in college football. You know what I'm saying? You still have Patrick Surtain saying he was the best player he'd ever played with, type caliber player that. Yeah, after his rookie year, we went and got AJ, but he was only a rookie then. He's like 5 years in now. You know what I'm saying? Like he can put his own work in. And it's time to really. That's really, to be honest, that's probably what pushes me more to say go ahead and trade him if he wants to do that, because then you can see both of them.
Yeah, right. And that's what I'm saying. If he wants all that, then I really hope that, because I've never seen in my life a guy want to get traded and it not happen. Because if a guy wants traded, wants out, in today's day and age with social media and how these athletes have their leverage, it happens. So if he truly wants to be out, then they would get it out. They would get him out. So I'm judging off actions. I'm starting with the actions and going backwards. I'm not reading the reports and going to the conclusion that's not happened. So that's how I'm judging it. And the fact that he's not out, and then this June 1st thing's been true the whole time, but it just got brought up because it kind of, the talk slowed down. So now it's like we need some other date to kind of put on layaway. So look, I'll say this: if he's really unhappy, then absolutely, it's better for the team. I want what's best for the team. But if he's still here in September, I'm not going to sit around making excuses and crying about how the guys don't like each other and stuff like that, because they have all this time to figure it out. So to me, in September, whoever's here, you got to buy in fully. And that's what I'm saying. So that's my mindset with it. And that's kind of where I'm at. I've seen all the rumors already. It's, I'm kind of over them. It's just like,
and it's kind of getting dragged out so far, so long. The only reason why I really talking about it is because I would probably put him in a package deal with Myles Garrett to get Myles Garrett.
Yeah, I don't think either one of them.
I mean,
I had to bet neither one of them is getting traded this offseason.
I mean, I just don't think we should keep a player that keep displaying diva behavior. Like, he's just going to keep costing us games. I mean, just let him go. Let him play for the Patriots or whatever team he wants to play for, and get a team, a team player that actually wants to play for the Philadelphia Eagles and doesn't have a ego complex and don't want to, share the ball with the other players. I mean, I feel like he's jealous of Saquon Barkley. There was rumors that, the last game that he threw, he said his goodbyes to the other players. Like, if that's true, then just let him go. He deserves to get traded, and we deserve a player that actually wants to be a team player.
I feel like if we trade him to the Patriots, we're doing him a solid. Like, okay, we really want you, but the Patriots are only going to do it after June 1st. They're not going to take that.
And he's a great player, but he has a nasty attitude, and that's the problem.
He cost us games. Think about last year. After he started whining about not getting the ball, doing the stuff in the media, he got the ball like 3 straight games, and we lost like 3 straight games.
And he wasn't playing his best. I felt like he was throwing the game.
There's a lot of
I found myself yelling at the screen because he kept throwing the ball aimlessly, and it's just not going anywhere. I mean, I felt like he was doing it on purpose.
Yeah, well, Hey, we're going to see after June 1st. I do believe it's not going to go too much past June 1st. If he's getting traded between June 1st and June 10th, it's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be like you said, Tom. I want to see action. I think that's what it is. I think it's a money thing. I think it's a Patriots don't want to give a this year first round pick for him thing. So Howie's not getting exactly what he wants right now because teams, aren't really the teams that really he should go to aren't really freaking like willing to do what he wants, a first and a second. But I do feel like if you wait till after the draft, especially with the new rule change where you can give first round picks up to 5 years or any draft picks up to 5 years, you might see Howie, with the Patriots now that when the draft's over, you know that too. Actually, you would know before June 1st. You would know in the draft next month in April. Because if the Eagles draft a receiver or Sadiq in the first round, I do believe that he'll be gone for sure. That's when you really find out. But say they don't, they get a good receiver in the second round, that cutoff date, June 1st, June 10th. If he's leaving, if he's paid past June 10th, probably going to be Eagle.
And I don't mean throwing the ball, I mean catching the ball, because that's ridiculous. I feel like half of the balls that he can catch, I can catch myself. Like, it's just slipped through his fingers. So, he's a great player. I'm not going to take that from him. It's just his attitude that's just not sitting well with me. I think he's a diva, and he has an ego complex, and he's made comments about Barkley. I think he's jealous, and he just, if he can't play with the other team members, then he should leave.
Tom, how do you feel about another big thing they're talking about? Is how do you feel about Stout leaving, like for real? Because my co-host, he's not here right now, Philly fan. He broke down some numbers for us, and then let's play the numbers.
In 2025, he oversaw tackle Brian O'Neill, who earned the 4th highest Pro Bowl focus grade among NFL right tackles. Cooper led O'Neill to earning his 2nd Pro Bowl nod after only allowing 2 sacks in 2024. Tied for the fewest of all NFL tackles. He had an 81.2 Pro Football Focus pass block grade. In 2023, he saw an offensive line that finished the season 5th best league in passing yards per game. During 2022, he assisted running back Dalvin Cook to another 1,000+ rushing yards. And Mike Munchak and Denver in 2021 assisted an offensive line that helped their quarterbacks receive the 4th most time to throw, 2.91 seconds in the NFL. So we were worried about Stoutland leaving, but it looks like we got a good replacement here. I just want to,
And then you look at, Lane Johnson coming out and saying that Stout's going to be back in some kind of capacity. And then he goes on the Nick Foles podcast, and then this was Stout says.
I know Philly fans in general wonder if that help might still be in the city of brotherly love. So one of your guys, Lane Johnson, just recently was on a podcast with Ryan Fitzpatrick and Andrew Whitworth and made the comment that he's obviously, devastated to lose you. And he said, but, I don't think he'll be far away. I think he'll be involved in some capacity. So naturally, everyone's wondering, like, what does that mean? Like, some capacity has been thrown out a bunch. Like, what does that mean?
I have no idea. I haven't had a conversation with anybody about anything like that, so I don't know. But I certainly, Lane and I, we came in together in 2013. That was the Chip Kelly first year. I always think we felt like we would end up leaving together as well. I don't know. There was a kind of a silent, almost agreement, but that didn't happen, unfortunately. But sometimes. I've done this for a very long time, as I said, and 30 years in college, 13 years in the NFL. And so a lot of players will ask me along the way, hey, coach, can we talk or whatever? And they have the thought of maybe not playing football, maybe in college any longer, or if a guy maybe is thinking about retiring in the National Football League. So I've had these conversations with players, and I always say, look, I can't tell you what you should do or are going to do. I have no idea. That's not right for me to say that, but I.
So do you think how Stoutland still gripe about the Eagles situation? So the first question is, do you think that Eagles did Stout wrong? Second question would be, are we fine with the new, Cooper as an offensive line coach moving forward?
I don't think we did Stout wrong. It's sad to hear him talk. I always liked him. Been here a long time. But I think Jeffrey Lurie gives a lot of power. It's funny, Stout mentioned Chip Kelly in that clip. Jeffrey Lurie gives a lot of power to his head coaches, and Nick Sirianni is under a microscope himself. He was tasked with rebuilding the offense, and he said, you know what, we're going to swing as big as we possibly can, and if it fails, then Sirianni's probably going to be gone. So he had to make the changes. So I think it was understood at that level, and he picked Sean Mannion, and he thought Sean Mannion should have full autonomy. Remember that report that came out about our offensive coordinator? The Eagles are giving full autonomy to whoever they hire. Well, that's what they did. They gave it to Sean Mannion, and he was like, look, man, like Stoutland doesn't coach this system. Doesn't fit. I need a different run game coordinator. It's a different style. And the players have mentioned it as well since the hire. So love Stoutland and what he brought. He's a legend here, always will be. But if you were going full autonomy, buying fully in Nick Sirianni, Sean Mannion, then I'm okay with giving that to Sean Mannion and getting a guy that coaches the style that he wants to run.
How you feel about the situation, Liz?
I mean, I really like him. He's actually the secret weapon to Eagles' success. So I wish I don't know. I'm worried. That's all I'm gonna say. I mean, he's the reason why we won the Super Bowl in 2018.
Yeah, we definitely won 2 Super Bowls with Stout. Both our Super Bowls with Stout. Yeah. I feel like this. I feel like you said, it's a new scheme. Why not go get a good coordinator that knows that scheme? I do feel like the Eagles disrespected Stout. All he's done, Stout University, being able to be one of the dominant offensive lines for years, right? And, I feel like you could have probably went a little different. Like, I feel like he should have kept the blame on KP last year. He shouldn't have, used Stout as a scapegoat. That's what I feel like happened. Keep KP finishing out the season. That was somebody. I do think that's the reason why Stout never said any goodbye to, the organization when he left. He wasn't thinking Howie Roseman, Nick Sirianni. You know what I'm saying? He didn't think nobody. He think players, and he rolled out. He's like, all right, cool. Like, he felt disrespected at the end of the day. And I don't feel like a coach with his kind of pedigree ever had to be in that situation. Like, he's been legendary from the Alabama days. Alabama tried a couple of times while he was quarterback. Do you think he's retired now? And who knows if he'll do anything with the Eagles moving forward? But from this, if you watch that full interview, he still was not given no credit, no love really to Nick and Howie and the organization who's in there right now. He didn't give no love. And I just think that's weird to be like a decorated coach for a football team and not give love. Like everybody else left. Dougie P left. Love. You know what I'm saying? So many people left. Love. But Stout was like, nah, I'm not giving no love. You know what I'm saying? He stuck to it. And that they tried to pull in that episode, they were trying to pull out some kind of, Eagles love from Stout. And he just kind of like was brushing it off left and right. I really feel like, he feels like he feels a little hurt. He feels like, he helped win 2 Super Bowls that this franchise never did. He had the players, ready to do it. We've won Super Bowl with backup linemen. I think maybe even both Super Bowls with backup linemen. And he did a tremendous job. Now, do I think moving forward we're in a jam? No. I think that Cooper guy, from what I'm hearing and what I've, researched, he knows how to coach offensive linemen too. You know what I'm saying? We couldn't have our very next Stout. Everybody got to remember, before Stout, there was Mud. Mud was a great offensive line coach. Before him, there was somebody. If you go back all the way to 2000, every offensive line coach we had since 2000 was good. Because we've had the best offensive line in football since 2000. You know what I'm saying? Like one of the top 5 for sure, in the league since then. So Stoutland was here for 13 years, yes, but we've always had it, in a direction that even like we said on the defensive line, the direction the offensive linemen are moving, with these top 30 visits, man, we're getting some ballers back in here again. That, when you got the players that with the size and athleticism, it's kind of easy to coach those guys up, because you're not really coaching anything but some certain techniques. They're going to use their body and their athleticism to, do the rest. So, this is what our boy at Philly Special said, talked about some of the guys that we're looking at in our top 30 visits.
The Eagles are hosting some monsters on their latest 30 visits. So according to multiple reports, Philadelphia is meeting with Miami offensive tackle Markel Bell, and he checks a ton of boxes as the long-term answer. Like, this dude started at Holmes Community College and worked his way into the #1 JUCO-ranked offensive lineman, where he then transferred to Miami. Now in 2024, he made 5 starts and allowed 3 sacks. But last year was a completely different story. 16 starts at left tackle, 0 sacks allowed in 558 pass blocking snaps. Yeah, massive improvement for the monster from Miami. And at 6'9", 346 pounds with nearly 37-inch arms, he's got some of the longest ever recorded at the combine. Now, I should say Bell is projected as a day 3 pick since he's still developing, but getting to learn behind Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata could be the perfect setup. Another name that fits that category, though, is Memphis offensive tackle Travis Burke. Burke went from undrafted buzz to now likely late day 2 or early day 3 range. And the Eagles already met with him at the combine and are now bringing him in for a 30 visit, which at 6'9", 325 pounds with 34-plus inch arms, he's got the prototype build for a tackle. But what stands out to me is how he plays, with Anthony DeBona describing it as mean, physical, and with an edge. Oh, he's also versatile, with over 1,000 snaps at both tackle spots throughout college. Although keep an eye on Alabama's Caden Proctor too. Technically, he hasn't gotten a 30 visit with the Eagles yet, but he apparently stole the show at Alabama's Pro Day. And the Eagles were in attendance, with him being another guy at 6'7", 358 pounds. It's easy to see where the interest lies in Philly. Which one is your favorite, though, out of the 3 I mentioned? The Eagles are hosting...
Those guys are monsters. You think about when we had our best offensive line, Becton, why we want Becton back? He's a monster. 6'9", 350, 60 pounds. Monster. Big guys beat up little guys. Mailata, monster. Lane Johnson, monster. Landon Dickerson, monster. The only one that's not really a monster really is Steen and Jergy. But I think we even have someone on the roster. Remember last year we picked him up? He was a big center. We picked up a big center on the practice squad, I think, last year. So get back to what you do best. Get monsters in that front line, open up these holes. Big athletic guys that can run. You heard Lane Johnson in his interview talk about he's looking forward to being able to, start the game off bootlegging and, getting open in space and running around hitting people because it's better for the offensive line. Every year the Eagles try to do this little drop back, passing game that we had. Those linemen get killed because they're big athletic boys that like to move. When they're standing there with their feet squared, it's harder for them to dominate for some reason. But I feel like when they're out moving in space, they're like road graders. They just destroy paths, man. When Becton was here, they were killing people. Like, Becton was really not given enough credit for what he did with that 2,000-yard run for Saquon Barkley. That dude was mauling people, just running the hell over. It's like, get out of the way. If we can get some more of those cats, like those cats that he just talked about on our team, our offensive line is going to be fine. We're going to be still the best offensive line in football, man. And I like to hear what I really liked about that was most of these guys are second rounders. You know what I'm saying? You don't even have to go out and stretch and pull one of these in with a first round pick. You can get these guys, because we pretty much got our starter set. This is how he's still rocking with Steen. I don't know why. But until we got someone big enough and better to take over his spot, we got our still same 5 starting offensive linemen from last year.
Yeah, and I think you're still already considering, a replacement for Landon Dickerson. Um,
Ooh.
they have been talking about his health and his career. Um, could be a shorter career than we initially expected, but if he plays till 30, that's probably a big win. He's 27, so I think it might be a little early for his replacement specifically, but some depth behind him for sure, that you can hang your hat on, because guys miss games in this league, and our O line has not been the healthiest. After the Super Bowl, obviously the 2K yards, I think a lot of the tush pushing really wore on these guys, and so we'll see.
That's not the knees, goddammit. Their backs, their knees, their shoulders.
They're definitely
We
wearing.
watched 2 hard games, man. I think the games we went to, we watched, together. That's Charger game. It's hardcore, And then the other game we watched in Philly, man, like these guys are not. They weren't the same all last year. Like I tell people, like Landon and Jergy was hurt before we won the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Like they were hurt at the end of the season. They were like switching off who's gonna go in and play center. Well, we have a second guard go in. And then you got the Super Bowl year, like Landon even said, like Turkey even said, like you don't get no off season. These guys are going to other countries getting stem cell research projects done to themselves, try to play football. Like you said, you hope he stays to 30. We hope this guy finishes this year. He was contemplating retirement. That was going to be a huge thing. 2 huge things. The Big Bad Joes would have left, and Landon Dickerson would have retired. We would have had major problems. We wouldn't be sitting here talking about, the convenience of trying to pick up a backup and groom it. We'd be sitting here stressing the hell out right now.
Yeah. Well, they're going to give it another go, and hopefully it can turn into a run. But things in this league aren't for long, so it's time to start flipping guys over and seeing what we got with other guys. And
what do you think the window is? What do you think the window is right now? What our Super Bowl window, with the team standing as it is right now?
I don't really believe
like it's wide open.
Yeah, I don't really believe in Super Bowl windows. I just think as many times as you can bring good players in, you can keep your window open. So I know Howie, as long as he keeps drafting well, I know Howie's always trying to improve this team. So I think our window is going to stay open as long as we're GM and Jalen's our quarterback, and just rebuilding the team around him. And you're going to have chance after chance, but it's not going to happen every year. There's going to be a bunch of shit that goes wrong a bunch of different times, and it's just how it is. But this team, this core, and this group has what it takes to be a Super Bowl contender any season. So yeah, I would say got to consider us that this year, but a lot of work to be done still.
Do you think it's overblown? Like I heard Shady and them talking about it on the Speakeasy. They're talking about and I even talked about it last week too on my show. I was like, the Eagles are so good where you can go back-to-back division champions and go 11-6, and the sky's falling.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like the sky's falling. We're like, well, we just did something that hasn't been done in 20 years. Back-to-back champions in division. We got 11-6. You know how many teams in NFL would love to be 11-6?
Yeah, there's teams in our division right now that talk the most trash you'll ever hear out of their fans, but they're winning 7 games or 3 games, and you're like, you don't really understand it. So our down year is 11 wins going to the playoffs, and everyone dramatizes how we lose or what the reason was or whatever, and it's this big thing. But it's like, I'm looking around, not seeing many teams more successful than the Eagles lately. So I'll roll with the down years being an 11-win playoff loss, and I'll go with the high. When we're on our up years, stock up. We're going to Super Bowl, so hopefully we do that again.
If the pattern's right, 11-6, 14-3, 11-6, 14-3. We just went 11-6, so 14-3 is the logical news.
It seems to be the pattern of this team, but I think with Sean Mannion getting some stuff on film with this team and these guys that hasn't been put on film yet is going to be hopefully what swings us back in the right direction, because I feel like our defense is going to be what it is, and they're good, but it comes down to putting it all together on offense and just kind of having that cohesive unit. So I'm excited for it.
Do you think we're gonna draft the edge in the first 2 rounds? We got a question. Sorry about the chat. Hey, you guys hit that like, hit that subscribe. Go follow my boy Tom Stakes on all social media platforms. Go follow Lizzie E on all platforms and Bergen 31. Sorry I didn't get to you guys tonight. We kind of were just going through the thing. We're about to get up out of here soon, but we got some questions. Do you think the Eagles will draft an edge rusher in the first 2 rounds, guys?
Yeah, actually, I do.
Is there anybody on your radar?
I'm not sure about prospect. I haven't been hitting the mock drafts hard enough, honestly. I haven't been keeping up with like the edge prospects or really any prospects, if we're being honest. But I should get to reading up. But I do think edge could be a big time high priority for us in the draft. I'm the guy I really like. It's kind of just random, but I like the guy from Quignon's school, Toledo. What was it? McNeil.
Oh, Warren.
Yeah, Emmanuel McNeil Warren, right?
For safety?
Yeah, I like him a lot.
I can't even hate. Maybe I should hate him a little bit because I hated on Q. Like I was at the Senior Bowl that year, and I even talked to him. I just feel like he didn't have his personality. He didn't have the swag you need to be able to show
dude,
corner.
This guy looks like a freak.
You know what I'm saying? And he definitely proved me wrong. He's one of the best corners in the league.
Yeah, and
so
he has.
Out this guy from Toledo. No, I don't want Warren. Who the hell plays football in Toledo?
Yeah, I love it.
You
gotta hate him. He gives me like Nick Eamon-Maury vibes. He's got the same like 6'3", 200 plus, big hitter, active around the ball. I don't know. I like him. I think he's going to be good, but we'll see, man. I don't know. Does Howie take a safety in the first round? I mean, we got to see who we have. Epps, but I don't know. We don't have like a top. That would be crazy on secondary if they took a first round safety and went with him and McCluba plus the corners we have. That would just be like the craziest secondary you'd ever see.
I already feel like we got the best secondary. Even like I feel like the moves we did. How do you feel about the Jordan Davis? I didn't ask you that. How do you feel about the Jordan Davis extension?
Oh, I love it. He's great. He should be
a captain. Worth money. And people be like, "Oh, was he worth that money?" I'm like, he earned that money.
Yeah, he should be a captain this year.
Ooh, that's nice. And I know everybody got to get you out of here soon. What do you think about the Nakobe Dean departure and Jahad Campbell? I heard he had a procedure done this offseason. Do you think Jahan is ready to be number one in line?
I do. I think so. Young player, talented guy.
You think he can stop the run? You think he's going to be prepared enough to stop that run? I think that's what his problem was.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It'll be a work in progress, but drafted a guy in the first round, you kind of don't have a choice but to play him at some point sooner than later. So I think he will be a guy that I think what they were looking for, to replace Nakobe Dean. I think that's why they picked him, because they knew they were going to lose Nakobe. So I think it's time.
I feel like Howie Roseman knows what he's doing. I mean, this is the reason why the Eagles are in the position they are. He picked one of the top players that we have currently on our team. So whatever he's doing, I trust him 100%. I mean, 6'9" is crazy. I don't remember the player that you mentioned. I think we should get him on our team.
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of prospects are actually really strong prospects. So I think any decision that Roseman makes is a good decision.
Yeah. Like I said, and Howie we trust till he don't do it no more. I think he learned from his mistakes before in the draft. If you look at the last, 5 drafts, the first 3 rounds, he's been hitting left and right. So like you said, it's about the Eagles. It's not about the players. We just got to stay Eagle fans support the Eagles, and let's try to get not so caught up in the actual players that are on the team, because I think it's all about coaching. It's all about the players you have on the roster, and right now our roster's still good right now. Like, I feel confident if the Eagles go out and play with the roster they have today. You know what I'm saying? It's only going to get better because of the draft and the second wave of free agency. You know how he always makes moves later on. So we're in good shape, man. To be Eagles fan, we're spoiled. We complain about nothing, and we want everything. We want everything. We complain about nothing.
We lose one game, we burn down the city.
So, hey, man, thank you again, Tom, man. Any final thoughts to get you out of here, my guy? Thanks again for your time.
Yeah, just go Birds. But did you want me to stick around for, like, are you ending the show now, or?
Yeah, we go ahead and end the show right now. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah. Okay.
I'm ready to get that talking going on. But hey,
Yeah.
all you guys, we got 80 up in here, man. Salute to all you guys. Hit that like, hit that follow button. Stay up. We're going to be dropping some more content this week. You know what I'm saying? We did a Monday show for Tom, to help out the situation. So, fly, Eagles, fly. Liz, any words? How was your first show? How you feel about it?
I mean, this is the first time I did something like this. This is actually pretty fun. I'm not familiar with the prospects of the draft, so I couldn't comment much on that. But like I mentioned, we still have Howie Roseman, the driving force to where the Eagles is at right now. So I'm very hopeful that we might win the Super Bowl next season. So whoever is going to join the team, I know it's a good decision because he's making that decision. So, go Birds. That's all I have to say. I'm excited for the next season, so let's go.
Yeah, we definitely going to get you going, girl. It's only, the first show. Everybody goes to their first shows. You're definitely going to get better and better as we go on. I already see your passion. So, fly, Eagles, fly, y'all. Hit that like, hit that follow everywhere. Bird Gang out. Peace.
How about our quarterback? How about our quarterback? He's a stud. He is.